What if the reason this year felt heavy for some of you wasn't because you failed, but because you slowly stopped trusting your artist voice? And what if next year isn't about becoming someone new, but reclaiming who you already are? Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, where artists of all kinds come to fuel their passion, sharpen their skills, and thrive in their creative lives. I'm your host, Lara life and creativity coach and fellow artist, here to support you on your artistic journey. Whether you're a performer, writer, visual artist, or any kind of artist, this is the space for real talk, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Subscribe and join us each week for more inspiration and actionable insights to fuel your artistry. Let's dive in and get inspired. Welcome back to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. I'm Lara, life and creativity coach for artists, performers, makers, creatives, and I'm someone who understands just how personal this artist path can be. This episode is releasing just days before the end of the year, a time when artists feel reflective, tender, and quietly exhausted. But this episode isn't about resolutions, productivity, or doing more. It's about reclaiming your artistry, especially if this year chipped away at your confidence, your momentum, or your sense of belonging in the creative world. Now, before we dive in, I want to share something with you. This work I've been doing with artists for years around our identity, our worth, and staying grounded in a world that can constantly ask you to prove yourself has become a book. It's called Audacious Artistry, Reclaim Your Creative Identity and Thrive in a Saturated World. And I want to let you know that it is coming out. It's in pre-sale now, and it's grown into something very, very tangible. I'm going to mention it again later, but if it feels relevant for you at this season, by all means, head to larabiancapilcher.com/book. All right, let's begin. Let's dive in. Now, there's a quiet grief I hear from artists at this time of year. Not always spoken out loud, but deeply felt, and it sounds like this internally. I didn't do enough. I should be further along. I don't even know if I'm still an artist anymore. Am I good enough? Why didn't anybody choose me? Have I not done enough to prove my worth? And this shows up across all disciplines. Dancers who've trained their whole lives but feel invisible in the industry, or actors who auditioned relentlessly, self-taped, and heard nothing back. Singers who stopped writing because it just felt pointless. Writers who couldn't bring themselves to finish the draft for whatever reason. Or even visual artists who quietly packed away their supplies or never entered their art room if they have one. And here's the thing, most of these artists didn't quit, they just withdrew from posting, from sharing. Life got louder than their art. Art wasn't the problem, life was. From trusting their instincts, from believing their voice still mattered. Not because they lacked discipline, but because the cost of hope started to feel too high. And this is where I want to reframe something really important, because in psychology, when someone experiences repeated disappointment without resolution, the nervous system doesn't interpret that as keep going. It interprets it as danger. So withdrawal isn't laziness, it's actually protection. Your nervous system is trying to keep you safe from things like rejection, humiliation, invisibility, wasted effort. And the truth I want you to hear is that most artists don't lose their creativity, they lose their sense of safety with it. And when you feel that loss of safety, you often interpret it as a loss of passion for your art. And when safety disappears, artistry doesn't vanish, it just kind of withdraws or it goes quiet. And this is why forcing yourself into New Year's goals can feel really crushing, because what you actually need isn't more output. You need to reclaiming your voice, your pace, your authority over your own creative life, your autonomy over your own creative life. This is a really good moment to share something supportive. I've created a free 30-minute video called The Artist Momentum Reset. My fun title is Stop Begging for Scraps. Don't let that put you off because it's deep work. It's something you can download and watch in your own time. No live call, no pressure, no booking anything. It's designed to help artists understand why motivation disappears and joy and things like that, and how to rebuild momentum without forcing it, without burning yourself out. And if that feels helpful, you can find it at larabiancapilcher.com/masterclass. All right, let's get back to the heart of this episode. So what does it actually mean to reclaim your artistry? Well, it doesn't mean producing more, posting more, suddenly feeling confident. Reclaiming means coming back into relationship with your artist self. It's saying, I trust my timing. I trust my voice. I trust that my worth doesn't disappear when I'm quiet, or when things are quiet, or when the industry's quiet. And here's what I want you to consider as we approach 2026. You don't need a fresh identity. You need to retrieve the one you abandoned to survive. Many artists didn't stop creating because they stopped caring. They stopped because caring started to hurt too much. And reclaiming artistry is an act of self-respect. And I want you to know that I have been here many times, different seasons, that I have found myself going, do I even want to be an artist? Do I like this? What else would I do with my life? This is who I am. This is what I want to do. But yet right now, there are times that we can feel like we've abandoned our art to survive. So let's reclaim that artistry because it's an act of self-respect. So this week, for your creative spark, I want you to try asking yourself one simple question. What part of my artistry am I ready to gently come back to? No plans here, no promises, just honesty. What part of my artistry am I ready to come back to gently? Now, for me, that's looked like over this last year dancing, because I was a professional dancer. I don't know if I would say that I was. I think once you are something, you always are. But there's a sense that seasons have changed. I've got older. I've got children. Life got crazy moving to the States, and I shifted and pivoted my focus more into acting and writing and coaching in other areas. But I came back to it. And what's hard when you come back to something is that you remember what you had or what you were, and in my case, how fit I was, or how high my leg went, or how many turns I could do without falling over or wobbling. And so sometimes when we look at returning to something, and that's a big picture, but it might be a small piece of your artistry, look at what you can come back to, but do it gently and do it for the season you're in, and be kind in that return. Because if you judge it based on the past, you probably won't even begin, because again, the nervous system will say, too hard, threat, not safe. And you want to come back gently and safely. Well, that's my vulnerable take. If this episode met you in a really tender place, I want you to know that you're not behind. You haven't failed. You're not late. You're not forgotten. You're not irrelevant. You're an artist in the process of remembering yourself in this crazy, loud, noisy, saturated world. And in the next episode, we'll continue this conversation by asking a powerful question. What if you were made for this? Even now. Now make sure you're following Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist so you don't miss it. And another thing is that for those of you who are still listening, if you're navigating not just your creative identity, but also relationships, partnership, or marriage alongside your work, my husband and I, Andrew, is my husband, we host another podcast called Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. And it's a compassionate space for real conversations about connection and long-term support. And you can find that wherever you listen to podcasts under Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. And just remember too that Audacious Artistry, reclaim your creative identity and thrive in a saturated world, has been somewhat the book of my life's work. I've put together how I've stayed an artist for 25 plus years, how I've managed to keep showing up in an industry that can crush your soul in different seasons, in a world that is hard to navigate through all of the challenges, through parenting, through country moves. It's all in there. You can get it at larabiancapilcher.com/book. And it really is a framework to help you show up as your most beautiful, creative, authentic artist self, which is an audacious thing to do. So thank you for being here, especially at the end of the year. Next week, we're going to continue the conversation. What if you were made for this, even now? Make sure you're following Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist so you don't miss it. And I'm with you on the journey, friends. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an inspiring conversation or actionable insight. You can read the show notes and learn more at larabiancapilcher.com. And be sure to share this episode with fellow artists who could use a little extra inspiration. Until next time, keep creating, stay audacious, and remember, your artistry matters.